Good morning and welcome to the Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's 2025 Small Business Academy. We are now starting our 11 o'clock session, Harnessing AI for Business Growth, Strategic AI Implementation for Startups. And I would like now to introduce our presenter for the beginning of this session, Naveen Kankate. Naveen, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. Michael, should I start sharing my screen?
Yes, please.
Is everybody able to view my screen?
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay,
Thank you.
wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, Michael, let me know when I can start, and I don't want to stop you in your agenda.
Very good. Yes, we'll look forward to you finishing up your presentation at about 11:25, I think.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Can I begin?
Yes, Naveen, you are the founder and CEO of Stay Thanks, is that right? And
Yes.
you
Yep.
are going to share about your own AI implementation. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Today, I'd like to first of all thank you all for coming to this session and giving your time on a wonderful Wednesday morning. A big thank you to Ziming, Michael, Seum, and the entire WEDC team for giving me this opportunity. I'm really happy that I'm here. Really, thank you so much for getting everything set up. So, special shout out to both Michael and Ziming and Eric as well. Um, Today, I wanted to first start with a few things. So the way that we have designed this is for you to get the most value out of it. So I'd love for you to participate in the comments. Michael, would you be relaying, or Ziming will be relaying the comments or the questions to me today?
Thank you, Naveen. No, during your presentation, we won't relay the comments. We'll reserve comments and questions from the audience for the panel portion following your slides.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Cool. So in the next 20, 25 odd minutes that we have, I'd love for us to go through a couple of things. Number one, what you'll see is I'm starting with this question is can we go from ideas to execution in seconds? And how can we harness the power of AI? Because there's a AI product revolution happening as we speak. So this is something right from the ground. Second, I want to share a few tools, something practical. I'll be sharing my screen and showing you a few things of how we kind of use tools, and then how we've built our own tool to harness AI and really take our businesses and automation to the next level. So those are the three key things I want to cover today. Does that all sound good? All right. Michael, I'm gonna just expand my screen and start. Okay. We start with this question is can you go from ideas to execution in seconds? We'll answer this question throughout this presentation, but for the first time in a lot of years, especially the last 30, 35 years, this question is even seemingly possible, even to ask and to fathom, and that's only because of AI. Can you take your ideas to execution, both from an idea generation to execution to maintenance? There's so many things, the possibilities are infinite. I want to take everybody's attention to this product evolution timeline, and I'd love to hear in the comment section also if you kind of agree and have seen some of this. So the first thing is, let's go back in time a little bit, in the 1990s, where music was even more cooler, at least for me, and that's the internet era. And why I'm kind of going through the timeline is to kind of highlight where exactly we stand in the process of products, and how evolution of AI has kind of come along and what opportunity it presents. It's very important that we identify like where we stand. So in the 90s, we had the advent of like the internet come along. That's what I call as foundational or infrastructure that needed to be laid down, and it's on top of that is what Amazon, eBay, and everything could kind of come on top of that. All these companies would not have existed if the internet was not there. I think everybody agrees on that fact, right? So whether it's Amazon, eBay, and later on we saw YouTube and Netflix, and all of these things can exist because the internet kind of took place. All right. Now let's move a little bit into the 2000s. The next big infrastructure change, I repeat again, the next big infrastructure change came through mobile phones or mobile devices, whether it's the iPhone launch or mobile internet and broadband and internet penetration going high. Because that infrastructure exploded, apps like Uber, the sharing economy, Airbnb, Instagram, all of those things kind of exploded with that infrastructure. So let me take a step back again. In the 90s, you had the internet infrastructure on which a lot of internet-based companies like Amazon, e-commerce, doing things on the internet. You could now do things, 10,000 miles away. So that was one. The second was again mobile infrastructure, so mobile devices. That infrastructure kind of took place. Now in like 2020 onwards, there's the third big generational change, and that is with GPT models, or the new AI infrastructure is what I call it, where it's able to analyze vast amounts of sums of data, and all these amazing technological advances have been done, whether it's companies like OpenAI, Google's Gemini, or Twitter, or what we call as X, having Grok and DeepSeek, and so many and so forth. All those have kind of enabled us to come to an inflection point again, where we sit now here in 2025. That infrastructure is laid, and that is why you'll see a ton of new companies and new tools and a new way of doing business kind of coming along. The reason why I've spent close to good 5 minutes on this is for all of us who are small business owners. I know people who are attending this are like founders, solopreneurs, maybe even freelancers. It's very important to understand that this is an inflection time, and the products that were successful yesterday are not necessarily going to be staying successful in the near future. So with this third level of GPT models kind of built, that gives a lot of opportunity for new tools to come, and new tools have already started coming. So I'm going to just change my slide now and talk a little bit about those opportunities. And knowing these are important because either you can be building some of these things, or you could be leveraging, most importantly, for your business, so that you don't get wiped away with some of this automation and advances that are coming along. I hope everybody's kind of able to connect, because I'm not able to like talk and see your expressions and how you're feeling about this information. But I hope that you take just a little bit of time to think where in time we are standing. With that, let me go to the next slide and talk just a little bit more about what kind of like opportunities exist. So LLM-based applications, that opportunity, which is like 2023 onwards, we are seeing at least 5 main things. Okay, and some of these are like technical terms, or like maybe it might be new terms. Don't worry, I'll explain them quickly. But those 5 things are: one is verticalized agents, AI agents, enhanced marketplaces, enterprise integration, and AI literacy and training tools. These are the 5 big opportunities, at least we are seeing on the ground, and a lot of cool activity is happening. So for those who might be really familiar with this, I'd love for you to share in the chat how you have kind of interacted with any of these. But for those who are perhaps hearing these terms for the first time, I'm going to share what these few things like mean, especially with the first one, which is like verticalized AI. Now, as I mentioned, like ChatGPT, whether it's their models or Gemini, all of these companies have done all the hard work essentially of training these amazing generative models on basically the whole internet. Now it's a different question whether they were supposed to, whether they took all the right permissions and security and privacy. That's not the topic today. Um, but the topic here is verticalized AI agents, like specialized AI for specific tasks. Now that's a big opportunity that we are seeing, and you'll see some of those kind of come through when I share my screen again and show you things in action. Um, the second piece is like AI agents. This is a popular buzz term these days, which is essentially AI is being like autonomous, and it's going to execute uh, all the tasks on your behalf, where it can take decisions, where it doesn't need a lot of like input, and it's able to take decisions, really understand its environment. When I say environment, is like digitally it's able to understand. The one big application we are seeing here is like executors for like personal assistants. I don't know if you've tried the operator from OpenAI and ChatGPT. It basically can surf the internet, look at flights, find the cheapest flights for you, and book the whole flight for you. So that's another application that we are seeing. The next 3 are more, in terms of if infrastructure is already there, like marketplaces, for example, right? Marketplaces have been there for a long time. Amazon is a marketplace, Etsy, even Netflix, in a way, you can say it would be a marketplace because you're still getting matched with a particular movie that you like. So that's AI platforms improving the user product matching. So that's a big area that we are seeing artificial intelligence kind of rocking and going leaps and bounds. And then the fourth one is really like these big companies. So if there are legacy companies that are needing AI to be embedded, obviously their risk tolerance is going to be really, really high. Sorry, low, because it's like a big ship, and there are existing clients. So embedding AI into those business operations and workflows, that's going to be a key thing. And the last thing is obviously what we are kind of in a way doing here is um, literacy, AI literacy. What does this all mean for us, especially small business owners, solopreneurs, team of 3 to 10? Like what is AI doing for us? Many people have this question: is my business going to be wiped out in the next 10 years? Especially for like small boutique graphic design companies. I don't think it'll happen that way, but the question and the legitimacy of the scare is there. That's no one can deny. So those are the 5 key things that we see an opportunity in, and these are definitely terms that are here to stay. And I I I can say this safely, that these are not just buzz terms and hype terms, but these terms are going to stay here for a while. So that's a little bit about the history, and quickly we went into what kind of opportunities kind of exist. our requirements, execution, and purpose is going to remain the same. So for those on the call who are wondering like what will happen with AI, as long as we know who we serve, the how we serve can change, but the why we are serving will always remain the same. So with that kind of framework, I wanted to take you into some tools like harnessing AI and what we are seeing on the ground. Quickly, I'd just like to take in Michael, is there anything in the chat that I should be aware of or anything, or we're still waiting till the end, right, to the panel?
Exactly. Yeah, please
Oh,
proceed. Thank you.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so AI is disrupting, and we know that. And again, we started with that question is like, can we go from ideas to execution? And how do we kind of do that? So there are lots of tools here. I have whether it's Idea Browser, Lovable, Cursor, and you'll see there are like thousands and thousands of tools. If I go to my next slide, you'll see just the number of tools that are being launched, whether it's in the editing space or video generation, image generation, marketing, tech. I overheard a conversation about web development also. So we'll see an example of that because I want you to walk away with a couple of things. One is knowing and understanding where we are at in the timeline, but also some actionable things. Now, see, just this logo cloud in a way is still small. There are over 50,000 tools out there. So you'll not be able to like do a lot of them. And like, how do these tools fit for me? That's the question I am asking all the time. And the last year and a half, we've tested over 500 plus like AI tools and created our own database of tools. And I'd like to share a few things. I pulled up this example for like websites. So if you are right now, this is going to be pertinent for someone who's trying to get a new product off the ground. I'm actually going to show something. Michael, if you don't mind, I'm sharing my live screen as well. Everybody has access to chat gpt, I presume, correct? So I built an example for those who would want to get a quick landing page out there, who are not technical at all. Even perhaps Wix or Shopify is like difficult for them. So if you go in chat gpt and go to your explore gpts, I'm sharing my chat gpt screen right now. In explore gpt, there's a website generator that you get, and I'll be sharing links and prompts and everything that I have used here, so don't worry. This is one quick example of how you could build something like to go from your idea to execution in a second. When we were having like that discussion, I quickly like typed in, so you can see my timestamps also, that this is like right when we were having that conversation. Is I just told it like, hey, can you build me a landing page for a website that sells tea, and it's called like thank you tea. It's actually able to decipher. I'm just zooming in a little bit. ChatGPT is able to decipher. It asks you what exactly you're selling, and then it can come up with the whole content, the aesthetic and all you can like design, and then it gives you the whole like first draft of a website in. And what it generated, I just have it pulled here. It's called b12.io, and immediately it was able to kind of pull out like a website. uh, it's not obviously this is generated with like minimal input, but you can see you can create like a website within like seconds. So you can try it out in your own chat gpt as we speak and see some of the things that the tools that are just available at our behest. Many such tools are like available. This is one because I know a lot of people use chat gpt, so within that we are able to quickly get something off the ground. Now this we can edit, and you can change the image, you can change your tagline, but the time it took earlier from going to 0 to 1 has been shrunk, and it's shrunk considerably with these AI tools. There are quite a few of them this was just one example. I hope everybody was able to follow along. Quick summary. I went to ChatGPT, went to their Explore GPT section on the left-hand side, and they're selected because they have multiple specialized tools within ChatGPT. A lot of people have not used this because everybody just types into ChatGPT. And then I just asked it to create a website, and there it is. It called the appropriate, web function in a way, and built a whole website for me. Okay. For those in the audience who might be a little more like technical, I would suggest we'll not go into, because we don't have the whole timeline. Cursor is one such tool that's like an AI code editor. So anybody who's really into coding and or is like an entry-level coder as well, this one is a slightly more hands-on, where you look at your code easily. With that being said, we have a couple of more minutes. I wanted to share a few other tools, specifically the ones that we kind of created. So look, a quick thing which Michael mentioned is I have a company called Stay Thanks. We support and work with over 100+ local businesses here in Milwaukee for their marketing and their tech needs. So we identified that these partners and clients of ours who we work with are perhaps the most vulnerable when it comes to AI disruption. So we need to empower them and make them have those tools like the ones I'm showing at their behest, so that they also have that advantage, because all these tools are available. It's just a matter of knowing and choosing, which takes time. I feel there's a wonderful comment by one of the other panelists, which I really liked, is like, it's not about the tool, it's more about how it's like being wielded. I think Shane said that. So I really loved that. Shane, that was a really nice way to kind of put it. So full credit to you for sharing that. So I'm going to share now what we kind of built. It's called Requisor. And if you can see my screen here, let me share again, like why we built Requisor was with a simple idea that we want the small business owners, the solopreneurs, the freelancers to not be crushed by this AI wave. And when I say crushed by, meaning let's say if you're a small boutique firm doing your design work, which takes you like 30 minutes, or even the website, you're a small boutique web development shop, and it takes you like months to make something with like Wix, and some other competitors are going to come and use some of these tools, and they're going to be much faster. So there will be a lot less competitive advantage that you will have. So this tool is not just your like project management. You can tell it like what you are trying to build, and then it kind of suggests which tools you should be using. So some things you might not be aware of, but depending on your task, it actually helps you to get project clarity, but at the same time it will tell you. So let's see it actually in action. So I have a prompt here. Let's say I want to create a project plan to develop a mobile app. A lot of people try to make that, or a website, and I'm saying it's for my own business, as if I started again. So it's like for a local business promotion rewards called Stay Thanks. And what I'm going to do is start creating like the project plan. It takes a little bit of time, but you will see that it now goes back in the back end. It looks through all the amazing projects that we have trained it on, and what has been created already. And it will give me a detailed plan, whether it's, oh, there you go. You have a project plan. So it's creating a mobile app development for local business promotion. So it tells you like the key milestones. So like whether it's stakeholder and user research, develop a core app functionality, it gives you those milestones. Then it gives you all the tasks. Okay. It breaks down into all the particular tasks that you want to do, that you should be doing. It gives a priority to. All of this is like from its artificial intelligence and the data that it's been trained on of hundreds and thousands of amazing projects that have been developed in a similar line. So now when you see this, you've essentially automated the whole project planning phase. You can edit this, of course, but the first draft is right there within seconds. So again, I'm answering that question. We've gone from ideas to execution in seconds. And now if you see the magic, when I save this project, if you can see here to the right hand side of my screen, it's already started to give me some recommendations. Like, okay, if I have to do interviews, what tools could I be using? Something that I might not be aware of, but it will pick those tools for you and help you automate and reduce your time. So whether it's like, and it goes into the detail of the tasks. So we've given it over, I think, 500 tools that we have tested on. And then it shows you exactly which tools you could be using. Whether it is creating like app wireframes. Let's say you're just creating those like wireframes, so it'll give you some like recommendations on which tools to kind of use, how to get like started using AI, specifically for AI. These tools are kind of garnered to like the AI integration piece. I know I'm at like 11:26, so I want to be respectful of the time. Michael, if you can give me the cue.
Yes, thank you, Naveen, for sharing and sharing about Requisor as well. I'd like to pull in Eric. Eric Valley is the search engine optimization expert for Silver Fox MKE. And Eric is going to now curate a discussion based on what you've talked about with our panelists as well. And I'll leave it to Eric to introduce our panelists.
Great, thank you so much, Michael. I'm not seeing our panelists up yet. Can you pull them up on the screen? There we go. Nice. Excellent. So Naveen, thank you so much for that great presentation. It was a great setup for what we're going to be talking about today. We have got a great panel. In addition to Naveen being part of this panel, we also have Nikita Green and Deidre Hodges, who are the founders of Vibe Tribe Healing and Wellness. This is a great business. They empower clients through holistic coaching and innovative healing techniques. Really fantastic company. They do really good work. Both of them have used AI regularly to make their businesses run more smoothly. They've done everything from budgeting to social media to creating marketing plans. They really used AI to really help launch Vibe Tribe and Healing Wellness. And our other panelist is Lori Hybe. She is the founder and CEO of Keystone Clicks. This is a strategic digital marketing agency, and they do great work. They build websites, they do search engine optimization, they do a lot of stuff. Lori is very passionate about AI and was an early adopter of AI. I remember talking to her. She actually, back in 2021, this is way before ChatGPT got out, she got involved with a group and started working with them. It's called the AI Marketing AI Institute. She's been working with them for several years and has been speaking about, doing trainings on AI, and really helping people understand how they can use AI in their businesses. So I am super glad that we have this panel together. So Deidre, I am going to start out with you. So can you tell me, I know like Naveen was walking through a lot of different things, and he was saying, you know, how AI can help businesses, but can you tell me, if I start using AI, is it going to do all the work for me?
So that was my first fear. with working with AI, especially with ChatGPT. What I will say is that AI has not done all the work for us, for Vibe Tribe. It really goes off of your input. It's almost like having a creative partner, or having, I always say it's almost like having your mom with you as your business partner. It's based off of the input that you give it. It just kind of has amplified our vision. We use it more as a tool and not a replacement. So we're the heart of every project that we create. We come with the lived experience. We come with the cultural understanding and the deep knowledge of like what the needs of our business are. And we've been able to input that into AI. And from there, it takes direction from us. So it's really about how much you input, how much you give it.
Will it learn from what inputs you're doing?
Yes. So as we guide the process, at the end of the night, literally what I'll do is I'll go into like ChatGPT or whatever other AI platforms we use, almost like a journal. So I'll input what happened that day, whether it's something that happened with a client, whether it's an idea that I have. And from there, I'm just like, hey, this is what happened today. Thank you for listening. And then when I go back in, I can ask it as I'm building upon an idea, what I told you yesterday, chat, can you build on that? How can I work with this client that I said has these needs? How can I build upon this product that I have an idea for? And it just remembers what you've input. So it really learns you and goes from there.
That's awesome. Lori, let me ask you, Naveen had mentioned a lot of different tools, but let's talk about what is the tool that you use? Do you use ChatGPT? Are you using Claude? Are you using all of them? Lori, I think you're muted. Michael, can you hear Lori?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry about that. I do use all of them, but I primarily focused on ChatGPT. I've actually invested a lot of time building a lot of custom GPTs. So because of that functionality, I've really kind of leaned into that platform the most right now. But I use it for a number of different things, kind of like Deidre was talking about. Heavily on the business side of things, I created a custom GPT as a CEO coach. So if I've got, a challenge that I'm kind of walking through in the business, I can really lean into that just to at least help me think through some of the options that are available to solve the problem. I use it for sales analysis. I'll take a transcript of a sales conversation that I had, removing any vital or sensitive information, and ask ChatGPT to really highlight and guide me into what needs to be emphasized when I'm presenting my proposal. Yeah, there's lots of different things to you, and I really think about it from the perspective of how can this help amplify my current skill set? How can I create efficiencies in my daily activities? And that being said, every task that I have on my to-do list, I'm asking myself, how can AI help me complete this task? Everything, personally and professionally.
Let me ask you something, a follow-up to that, Lori. So you had mentioned you create a custom ChatGPT for a CEO coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit more about what does that mean, and what does it mean to have, first off, what does it mean to have a custom ChatGPT? And then as a follow-up, what does it mean to have a custom ChatGPT that's a CEO coach?
Sure. Okay. So a custom GPT is really you're kind of defining the rules on how you want it to function, so that if it's something you're going to use over and over again. So one of the rules in just using AI is you want to define the role of what it is it's supposed to be emulating. So Naveen talked about like building a website. So you could say you are a website developer, right? But what creating a custom GPT is doing is kind of saying, something you're going to be doing often. So if I'm using it as a CEO coach, I'm saying you are a CEO coach, and these are the things that you need to be focusing on. So I'm kind of building the foundation of the custom GPT, so I don't have to reiterate that every time I want to do that. So it creates some efficiency there as well, but it also learns how to function within the parameters of what you built for it. So an example of how I used it, I had an employee who ended up, she was very close to a lot of our clients, and her father was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he eventually, unfortunately, passed. But I had never experienced that as an owner before, of how to facilitate that type of situation, especially when she's heavily client facing with a lot of our very important clients. So chat, I threw that out at the CEO coach, and it gave me some fantastic insights. Me being emotional, empathetic employer, I'm going to do what I can to help her, but also to be transparent and have open communication with our clients and the rest of the team, and make sure the team is aware of the situation to the degree that the employee was comfortable with. So I really appreciated that. There was a new situation I was going through, and I didn't necessarily know how to handle it, and I got some feedback from the custom GPT I built.
So let me ask you as another follow-up just on this. When you say custom, does that like when people go into ChatGPT, they'll just type in what they want to say, or they'll speak to it. Does that mean when you have a custom, do you have to have a different license?
I'm the $20 a month plan. You can't do custom GPTs on the free version, but I highly, highly, highly recommend making the investment, because you get so much more. And maybe you talked about that a little bit, like you're searching for that web developer, right? So not only can you create custom GPTs for yourself, but there's a whole library where you can create a cool GPT and share it with anyone and put it in the library. You can leverage other people's GPTs that they've built. It's really quite fascinating, actually.
Naveen, I'd like to just kind of ask you, you did mention that, and Lori just touched on it. What is, do you recommend doing the paid, and what, like for somebody who is just a really new startup and doesn't have any access to cash, can somebody get away with doing the free?
The question is like free versus paid?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I can tell you first what we did. We tried all. And right now, if you see like my AI builds, like we have paid pro versions of all of them. So I'm on the $200 a month for ChatGPT, with all of them actually. Because we are in this, and we try to test it beyond its like limits. To start with, I would say like start on the free versions of a couple of them. A lot of users I've seen get stuck in like ChatGPT itself. Grok is great for like specific things. Perplexity is another. There are like several that are out there, and then let's see, like just test around with what is giving the best for your use case. So if you're like doing blogs or content generation, ChatGPT is coming out like really good. But if I want to do like a little bit of more deep research that has a more of a scraping mechanism, then I found Perplexity to be like much better. So depending on your use case, you will find that these, and this goes a little advanced. Till this step, you should be able to, by your instincts, tell like, okay, this is better for me. For those who are like slightly advanced in this, I know there are like over 200 people here. So for those who are a little advanced, you can actually start tracking, because this is what we do. We track all the models and we see what their output they're generating and give our own scores to it. And over time, you will see sometimes like some degrade, some get better. Like for example, Grok's image was amazing when I was starting to try it, but then when ChatGPT came out with its own image generation, it like blew everything out of the water. So that's my
Great. That's awesome.
Tidbit. Yep.
Hey, Lori, one more follow-up question on that. Do you think that like for somebody who's just getting started with AI that comes out of this event and they want to try it, can they get enough value out of using a free version before, if they're afraid to sign up, can they get enough value from it?
You're whatever tool you're using, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So whether it's the free version or the paid version, the paid is going to have a larger database of information it's pulling from that's more current. And it has, the functionality just continues to change every single day. But to get started, I would definitely, play with the free versions, but I'm an advocate of making the investment because you will get way more out of it on the paid versions versus the free versions.
Great. Nikita, let's talk about, I know when we've talked, you said that you have used AI not only in your life, but in your business. And can you share some of the insight that you've had about how AI has helped simplify your business, your life?
Well, for me, with our business, as far as we do a lot of workshops. So we have the idea, like you can be somewhere, you're talking to someone and you kind of get an idea of a workshop that might work, or someone that wants a particular workshop. So using Chat GPT, it helps us to get those ideas in there, and it kind of helps us to brainstorm on different workshops and how to run the actual workshop. It gives us different ideas of branding, and it gives us the ability to be able to restructure something on the fly if we need to. If something comes up and we need to change something, we're able to do that. It helps with creating booklets and flyers and all the things that we need right at our disposal as we're doing the workshops or coming up with workshops.
So if I'm new to ChatGPT and I'm going to go out and use it, and like you said, it's going to help me create a flyer, does it actually really create the flyer? Like, can I download a PDF? Can I download everything?
Yes, it actually creates the flyer for you. It can actually go into Canva for you. It can actually do PowerPoints for you. It can take whatever information you need and it can put it and make it accessible in whatever form you need it to be in, to be able to use it. And you can change it, you can edit it. You can even have them create it, then say, make it editable so that I'm able to go in and edit it if I need to edit. So it's like having a great personal assistant that can go in and do whatever you want, and it doesn't get upset when you tell it to correct this and correct that.
Well, that kind of goes along with what Deidre had said about it's a partnership. And, Deidre, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like how you view it as a partnership with your business. Now, just give us a quick overview of what your business is again. I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So Vibe Tribe Healing and Wellness is basically a holistic wellness business, and we operate under a co-op model. So we collaborate and partner with other wellness practitioners, and basically it's for the sole purpose of bringing coping mechanisms, wellness techniques, anywhere, all kinds of services from meditation and guided visualization sessions to aromatherapy, sound healing, trauma support services. And basically that's just so that we can work with communities to build them up so that people in marginalized or from marginalized demographics or from challenging communities can really focus more on making an impact and have like an action-based growth mindset so that we can see future generations thrive and just see people build their communities up. So AI has been very instrumental for us when it comes to how we work with clients and how we work within communities that have unique barriers or who have unique needs.
So can you give me an example, like you said, with certain, because we know, especially with some of the underserved populations, that they do have, maybe they have resource issues. They don't have access to capital. They don't have access to advanced marketing. Maybe they don't have access to a photographer, a videographer, and things. So I know that you're probably talking about other things. Those are just some of the things that come off the top of my head. But can you talk about, like, can you expand on what you just said about, like, how AI can help you reach those underserved communities?
So it has really helped us. For one, he spoke on Perplexity. We also obviously use ChatGPT, but it has helped us pull numbers and statistics and data for specific communities. And that really has helped us, like, tailor our approach. It really plays into how we do our content creation, how we branded our business, what's appealing to certain communities over other things that we've tried in the past. It really helps us when it comes to our anything that we're using in terms of our material that's marketing. I can go in and ask AI to create specific visuals that are very specific to the demographics that we're in, on down to the people that I have on the flyer. I can say, hey, give her earrings, add braids, put twists on her, things like that. And it has really, I'm amazed by what the output has been and how that's drawn in the clientele that we need and that we're really hoping to have. So it's been amazing.
Lori, I really want to kind of tackle something that I hear quite a bit. There's some people that are afraid to use AI, and whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or any of these, they hear AI and they get a little nervous. What do you tell people, especially because you're out speaking to a lot of groups, you're talking to a wide swath of people, from technophobes to people that are very excited about the new technology. When somebody tells you, I don't even know where to start, or I'm afraid to use it, how do you respond? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I would say, well, first off, fear is natural. It's something new, but we grow by leaning into something that is uncomfortable for us. So that's extremely important to just lay that out. But this is also an opportunity, and it's curiosity. And I would really encourage everyone to be as curious as possible and really try to push the boundaries of what you can do with the platform, with the technology. And as far as getting started, one, playing with it is a good way to do that. But two, I would highly recommend looking at your current processes and looking, is there a bottleneck somewhere? Is there something where you have a repetitive task that's taking place? Is there an area where you consistently have some sort of writer's block of some sort? And start there. Pick one thing and try to solve that problem, as opposed to trying to reinvent your entire business model. So start small and figure out, is there a way that I can leverage it to create an efficiency in a process, or to save me some time and energy, or some money by outsourcing this versus doing it in-house. So it's not going away. That's important to know.
No, I think you're absolutely right about that. Tackling, I really like what you said about tackling one thing, because I think it's a little bit less. There's always, like you said, there's always fear. And I think if you just say one thing, okay, I'm going to help it ideation, or I'm going to help it, I'm going to use it for, like, maybe creating wireframes, as Naveen had mentioned, taking one thing and just starting and learning.
Yeah. And you can even do it something small, I would say. Like I use it to help me plan my meals for the week. I mean, it doesn't even have to be business related. I found that was taking up a lot of time on my plate. And now I just say, these are the things we like to eat. This is our diet. Help me do meal planning for the week. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. Nikita, I kind of want to ask you about this, because this kind of touches on something that Naveen talked about very beginning of his slides. How can a business owner use AI to go from ideation to implementation?
Well, it does a lot of stuff. It can help you learn your competitors. It can help you learn the gaps that need to be filled within whatever you're doing. So it can help you with Excel sheets. It can pull different things, help you do your logo if you need things like that. It even goes far as if you need help with business planning and doing your cash flow statements and things like that. Like, it has the way to be able to just go ahead and implement whatever your thought process is. It can take you from a dream to reality. It helps with your thought process of things. You know, sometimes we, oh, can people, I'm trying to see, I'm saying something on
AI
here.
is
You guys
talking
can
to
hear
you
me,
right
right?
Mhm.
So it can help you with emails. I use it a lot when it comes to responding to certain emails, because I know what I want to say, but I just don't know the way to word it. So it helps me with that as well. It helps you to be able to, like I said, brainstorm. It does everything. You literally can take whatever your dream is for your business, put it in there, talk to it, it learns it, and it would help you build it out and then actually implement it.
Great. So now for the last couple of minutes, I want to go through some of the questions that we've gotten on chat. And I'm just going to direct these to certain people. If I don't know who to direct them, I'll just say it's open to anybody. But Lori, can you tell us a little bit about, with ChatGPT, there's a question about, if you're using a custom ChatGPT, is it private, the information that you put up there, or is it public?
You can set it to be confidential when you're entering this information, and more importantly, that the memory, it's not going to store the information in its memory. But I always proceed with caution on that, because even though the information says it's confidential, you're still entering data into a third-party system. So I would just say proceed with caution on that.
And is there a difference between with privacy if you use the paid versus the public?
I would assume with the public, it's collecting your information, you're training it. Any information you're plugging into it, you're ultimately training the model. So there's pros and cons to that. I personally am an advocate for training it because it's just making it better, but you also, again, have to be sensitive to the type of information you're entering into the AI.
Great. Naveen, one of the questions that came up about your discussion was, can you use, like you were talking about, like some of the tools you use for creating a website. Can you add brand filters or take photos from Pinterest and get brand representation when you're using AI to create like a website or some of these other tools?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah. So
with the Pinterest part?
Yeah, so there was a question about, like, with some of the tools that you use that you mentioned, you said there's 50,000 tools, but you just highlighted a couple of them.
Yeah.
Can you use like images from Pinterest or other images that you have where you can integrate some of these into the tools so it's already grabbing stuff that you have already liked?
Yeah, there are ways. So it's, I think I understand the question, and the rest of you can also help me out if I'm going in the wrong direction. You can take your own images. You can take images from like your Pinterest boards and stuff. One thing I would caution about is this is kind of like a gray area right now, because these images are trained on public images and you're creating images. I don't know where that is going to go in terms of copywriting, because that's gone for a little bit of toss. But to a specific point, yes, you can put your own images, your own branding into like these AI generated websites and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'll leave this for anybody in the panel. Can you tell me about accuracy? I know from my perspective with AI accuracy, you always have to realize that there's a lag. Even if you have ChatGPT Pro, you're using 4, but the data is still old. As soon as they upload it, it's old data, because the next day there's more data that's available. So I know whenever I do input to a ChatGPT that I know that the data coming out, like Deidre had mentioned about like getting information about some of the underserved communities, that you always have to be a little bit skeptical about that. But I was just wondering, can anybody in the panel talk to me about how do you verify accuracy?
That's why I really like Perplexity was as soon as that came out, because when I first started using ChatGPT, my concern was, people already trust what they see on the internet, and there's no citation or source of truth to the information. I remember I asked it to do a bio of me, and it sounded amazing, but a third of it was inaccurate. But Perplexity is citing the source of where that information is from, but I would still validate the source of the information, because it's simply, scraping information off of whatever is publicly available online. And we know that not everything online is accurate information. So definitely verify every single piece of critical data, and not just, don't just trust it right away.
Well, I'll give you an example, Mike, that I had. Last week I was working with WordPress, and WordPress uses plugins, which is like little snippets of code that developers build that you can add. And I was talking to ChatGPT about it, and it was giving me information. And then when I said, no, that's not correct, you're out of date, it was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So it does know, but sometimes it will take old information. Nikita and Deidre, I'd really be interested in you, because you guys have talked about underserved populations. What about the information you guys are getting? How do you validate that?
For me, like Lori was just saying, Perplexity is probably one of the best AI tools that I've utilized when it comes to pulling data. And then from there, it's just a matter of going down the rabbit hole of research. So that's one of those things where it's like, you can use AI to gather information, but then it won't do that work for you. That's something that you'll have to kind of go down that rabbit hole yourself. And luckily, Nikita and I have been blessed enough to network with a lot of different people in our community, so we can pull resources from them as well when it comes to gathering that data.
Great. With the last couple minutes that we have, I just want to go around and just ask, just make it kind of quick. What would be a blog or a resource for somebody that's coming out of this session and they want to follow, kind of keep track of what the trends are that they should be watching for AI? So if I'm going to ask each one of you, what would you recommend is a good place, like a website, a blog, anything like that? So Lori, can you start out? Where would you point people?
Yeah, and you brought it up already, the Marketing AI Institute, and it's not just for marketing, it's actually everything AI. They do a monthly webinar that's free and just kind of helping you to get onboarded. Their podcast is amazing. Every single week, the podcast is talking about the biggest things that happen in the AI world. And it's a great way to just kind of keep your pulse on the evolution of the technology. And then follow the folks that work, that run the organization, follow them on LinkedIn, because they're just posting amazing content.
Can you repeat that just for everybody a little bit slower?
Sure. It's the marketingAIinstitute.com.
Cool.
MarketingAIinstitute.com. Yep.
Nikita, where do you go to follow trends?
I was just gonna say pretty much the same thing: LinkedIn, Twitter, any of the social media places that we go on a regular basis anyway. You can find things about AI, and once you type it in, it'll come to you. So it'll follow you, and then the next thing you know, you'll have the pop-ups, and it'll lead you to different places that you can get information. YouTube has a lot of good stuff. You can just type in AI informations or podcasts or things like that, and they're out there, so you can find them that way as well.
And Deidre, what would you suggest?
Data Camp. I've really liked that site. I also like Full Story. I'm with Nikita on YouTube, TikTok. That was truly like our how we got our feet wet into AI. And then I also have to do a shameless plug for a local program. It's not a blog, it's not an actual online site that you could utilize. But if you are a small business and you have any sort of accelerator programs or incubator programs in your community, I definitely say utilize that. We went through Rock County Jumpstart here in Beloit, and there were all kinds of AI coursework, AI workshops that we learned from. So I definitely say utilize those incubators, those accelerators.
What was the name of that incubator that you just mentioned?
So the incubator and accelerator that we took was through Rock County Jumpstart, and that's here in Beloit, Wisconsin.
Great. Well, I want to thank everybody, thank our panelists, thank Naveen. I appreciate your time and your insight, and I will hand it back to Michael.
Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Deidre, Nikita, Lori, and Naveen for your contribution to this hour's content. The small business owners and small business operators and entrepreneurs of Wisconsin, I'm sure, certainly appreciate your contributions. With that, we will close today's program. But wait, don't log off yet. There's a whole nother program tomorrow. So please log back in at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for our next day of virtual programming with the Wisconsin 2025 Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. If you haven't already checked out the handouts section of the GoToWebinar system, there is an agenda with all of the programming for tomorrow, as well as information on our speakers, and a link to the resource directory, which is also available in the QR code that replaces my face. So if you haven't checked out the resource directory yet, please do. Lots of resources to connect with. And with that, we say thank you and have a lovely Wednesday. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye now.